Hi, Georgie Hope here. I'm rebranding my SEO from Beanie SEO and Fruitful Online SEO to Golden Cat SEO. And so I thought this was an opportune time to actually show people what I usually do when I get a website and start doing SEO on it, and some of the very basic things that are needed to start with. And because, this site I'm going to have to start from scratch. So on this particular site, I've had a theme installed onto it, but otherwise I haven't done anything else. The developers installed a theme for me. So the first thing, or one of the first things that we'll do, is install some plugins and set up some basic things on those. So I'll go in and have a look and see first what plugins are already in there that have come, with the theme. Personally, for me, I usually just delete the Hello Dolly because we don't really need it there, taking up space. But then we'll go to add new, and the very first plugin that I always want to add in is Yoast SEO. Now, in some cases, if the website isn't a brand new website, if it's one that's been going for a while, then I'll get the web developers to install the plugins like in a test environment just to make sure it doesn't mess up anything. I've had situations where installing plugins has crashed whole websites, so we're not going to do that. So we're going to do Yoast SEO first. We're going to activate that. The next one that I'm going to do is going to be a plugin called Redirection. It helps if you spell it right. Let's see if it comes up from that. No, Redirection. So we want the one by John Godley. So we're going to install that one, activate that. And then the next one I usually want is Broken Link Checker. Terrible at spelling. B-R-O-K, broken. Why is it not letting me click on that? Oh, because I have to be in the add new. So I want Broken Link Checker by Janice Altus. Vladimir. I think it's that one. I'll put that one in there. And then what we need to do is we need to put in the Google Analytics plugin. So, or we need to check in the theme to see if it actually has a space to put Google Analytics code in. So the theme options, we'll go have a look in those and see if it looks like it has anything. Custom CSS. Nothing there specifically that says Google Analytics code. Sometimes it will do that, sometimes it doesn't. So in this case, it doesn't seem to have. So we would go back to the plugins. And again, we're going to go to add new. And the one that I personally use is Google Analytics by Monster Insights. So this one here, so I'll install that. And then the other thing that we need to do is sometimes in the theme, it will enable you to, for the posts, it already has like social sharing buttons as part of the theme. So this doesn't look like, Oh, actually, look at that. In the general section, it looks like it did have a spot for the analytics code and to put in a Facebook pixel. So yeah, so this is the kind of thing we're looking for. If it does have that, you can use that just to prevent putting extra code on the site. But look, the Google Analytics plugin by Monster Insights has a whole stack of other things that it can do as well. So showing you data within your site of the Google Analytics, which might be helpful to some people. So it just kind of depends on what you want to do there. Let's see, can't see anything there to indicate that it has social sharing. What's the under elements? Blog, blog options. Okay, so social icons, we'll just check that in case. So that looks like it's just enables you to put social icons in there. Rightio, so we can't see that, so therefore I would go back to the plugins, and one of the ones that that I like is the social media feather. And so we can install that one. I mean, obviously you can choose other versions if you like, if there's something else that you like, but certainly the most important one that I would do is the Yoast SEO. That's definitely one that from my experience has just got so much more functionality than any other SEO plugin. And so we're going to run through what we then do with that. So when you've installed the Yoast SEO plugin, it will come up here to say SEO. And the Yoast SEO plugin is always changing though. So there might be some things that I say in this video, and then when you go and have a look at yours, or if you install it, that it's telling you that you see totally different things. So sometimes you might just have to search around. So just to show, so you've got a configuration wizard where you can go and configure it if you want to, that will guide you in the process. Otherwise, got these features and webmaster tools. So this is something that I would do as well, is go and if these are relevant to you. In Australia, Google is the most important one, maybe Bing a little bit, but in some countries definitely, you know, Bing might be 30% of searches. So you want to go and get your verification codes from there. With Google, you can sometimes verify it with Google Analytics, and so therefore you don't need to use put the code in here. But I've got other videos on my channel to show you how to do that. So usually the thing that I find where I need to do the most setup on this plugin is under this search appearance section. So we can go in and yes, so we're an organization. So I'm going to put Golden Cat SEO in there. I don't have a logo yet, but you know, that's something I can go back and would upload the logo. So we want to save that. And then we're going to go and have a look under content types. So in most cases, you're going to have blog posts on your site and you want Google to find those. So yes, we want Google to find those in search results. Then we're going to have pages, and yes, we want Google to find the pages of our website in search results. Now the rest of these I often say no to. So I'll often say no, don't show it in search results. So what we tend to find is that you'll have this testimonials section. And so if we go over in here to the testimonials section, because this has got like the demo theme content on it, these are not real, but it's got like all these different testimonials in there. And so usually what would happen, we'll go and have a look at this demo site for now. There's probably like a page that has testimonials somewhere. I don't seem to have it on there. Maybe it's something they put in the footer. So I'm not 100% sure how the testimonials work, but usually there would be a page that all the testimonials would appear on. So if we actually go and have a look at, say, this first one, Francis Reese. Often what happens is that the testimonials have their own separate URL here so that you can go and see them as an individual page on the site. Now, I've never seen this before. this one for some reason doesn't seem to have its own URL. So that's definitely different. But in any case, if we go back to the SEO plugin again, under the search appearance section, I definitely don't want the testimonials just to show up as a separate individual page with nothing on it. Go back here. Team, let's have a look at team and see if that is an easier one to understand, because I know that there was definitely a team page on the website. So here we go. So we're going to go and have a look at, say, and again, this is just the demo content on this site. So it's got these, 4 people to say that they're the team. So if we go and have a look here, then, and if we go and say edit Scott, we'll see that there's a specific URL here just for Scott. So if we go to that page, now in some cases you actually may want people to be able to find these pages that are for Scott, members of the team. It might be some kind of a business where people would actually search for that particular person. So probably say my individual profile in the team, I might keep that index from Google, but I would probably want all the others to be blocked so that it was just this team page that people were coming to, and they couldn't go to like an individual page. If you have like a team of therapists, then often you do want to have like the pages indexed and people being able to find them. So in this case, I'm going to say, no, I don't want the team individual pages to be found. So I'll set that to no index. But what I will do is when I'm in this team section here, just say this is me, John. I'll go down to where the Yoast SEO plugin is, and I'm going to click on, so at the moment the standard is that that it should be found, but because it's got currently is yes, but because when I update it, that default is going to go to no, and so I don't want it to be on the default. I want it to be yes, and then my page will index, but none of the others will. So that's how you can handle it if you just want one of those to index. So that's the team there. Then we've got the portfolio. So again, you want to just go and see, are these pages that you actually want Google to be able to find? So there's only one portfolio thing on this, and I'm not going to personally have portfolio items. So I'm going to say, no, I don't want those individual pages to be found. But my case studies, yes, I would like them to be found as individual pages when I create them. So I'm going to say, yes, please show the case studies individual pages. So, because if we go here and we have a look at case studies, then you'll see how it's going to set up like a blog. And so that's fine. But what I want is that, just say this is my case study. I want people to be able to find this particular page. Not that I'd want them to find that, but this is going to have an amazing case study on it. And we want people to then go and find that page. Again, with clients, in this case, I don't want them to find individual pages to do with clients, but they could, I'm happy for them to go to the client page. So these pages here, about us, our team, career, case studies, because those are all set up in the pages over here, they will be found in Google because you've said, yes, I want the pages to be found. So up here, see how I've said I want posts to be found, I want the pages to be found. So anything that's under these sections, we're saying yes, let Google find all those individual ones. But down here under testimonials team, portfolio, case study, clients, whatever you've got here, you have to go and have a look at that individually and decide, do you actually want Google to find these or not? Because otherwise, if you have a team page that has the full information about every team member, and then they have a separate page each that doesn't have anything different on it, then what happens is it's just duplicate content. So if you don't want duplicate content. With the case studies, it wouldn't be duplicate content because it's just going to have a few lines on the, it's going to have just, a few lines here on the case study page. And then when I click on these, it's going to go to an actual case study that's going to have 400 words on it. So it won't be duplicate of these pages. So that's the reason why you're really just trying to make sure that your site doesn't have a lot of what's called thin content. Because if these, for instance, just say the clients one is just ones that has like a whole stack of images, you don't want 10 pages to turn up on your site where it's just an image and no written content. So hopefully that makes sense, but if not, you can always ask me questions. And so that's that part of, that's that. Then we're going to go into the media. So now in this version of the plugin, you just keep it on yes, because what this means is that, just say if you go up into the media section. Now what WordPress can do is it can make every single one of these images a separate page on your website. So, oh my God, there's a lot of images in here. Far out. Well, we'll definitely be getting rid of a lot of those, but okay, that's crazy. So again, another thing you want to do is if you've got a whole stack of images from a theme that have been imported and you're not going to use a lot of them, then you just want to get rid of them. Otherwise, they potentially can slow down the website by just having so many files on there. That's what I've been told anyway by web developers. So yeah, I usually get rid of those. And then, so I was showing you this, because if we go just say to this random image, see how there's a link for this image, and potentially Google can index, we'll just go to a new tab. So potentially Google can like index that just as a page on your website. So it would be not something that you really want, is just to have that image on a page on your website with nothing else there. It's not relevant, it's not helpful. So that's why down on this plugin here, we just keep that to we want all of the URLs for the images to be redirected to the page that the image is actually on. Taxonomies. Okay, so again, this kind of depends on the kind of site that it is as to whether I want Google to find this. So what this is, this category here, is if you go, so we just say we go into posts and then we go into categories. And we'll have a look and see what this theme has got. So this theme has all these different categories. So if you actually, so let's just go view. That one's got 8 posts in it, says, so we'll go view it. Now, if your site was a massive blog, then you're probably going to want all these categories to be archived, right? But just say you only have like 20 blog posts on your site, and so maybe you only have 1 or 2 things in each of these categories. So just say if we go view this online marketing category. So all it's got is 2 posts in it. And so you don't want to have like a whole stack of these category pages that people would go to, because it's just not really useful for people. In this case, you could optimize it so it's called online marketing blog, or you could optimize each one of these categories as a separate blog. And if you were going to end up with 20, 30 articles in each of them, that might be worth it. But in a lot of cases for like small local businesses, There's no point having people going to these categories. What we really want is to get people to the main pages on your website for your services. And you don't want people on a local business website to end up like on a page like this with a stack of blogs, because what you really want is for them to go and buy your products and services. So I would usually set that to no. I definitely always set the tags to no. Tags are helpful for people, but you could end up with, if you've got 50 tags, then you might just have 50 pages that just have one blog post on them. Again, that's not useful to anybody. What you really want is for people to go to the blog post itself, not to loads of these category pages or loads of tag pages. Again, it might be different if your whole website is a blog, but if you're a local business, then absolutely don't want people to be going to these. And then format base art, I don't even know what that means, but usually I just disable those. Right, so archives. Again, if you had a massive blog with 20 different authors, then you might want people to be able to go to a page that is from a specific author that has a whole lot of posts from that author. In this case, we don't want that. We don't want to have author archives. We don't want date archives either for like a small business website. And then the special pages, you don't need to put anything for that. Then in the breadcrumbs, I mean, you can enable or disable the breadcrumbs. I mean, it can be useful for people to have breadcrumbs on the page so they can get back to a section where they've been. And then there's a whole stack of settings here that you can have. So just say, you know, what do you want in these breadcrumbs? Again, if you've got a very simple site, it's probably not that useful, but if you've got layers and layers of, if you've got sort of subpages of subpages of subpages, then it might be useful to have these breadcrumbs set up. But certainly for my site at the moment, I'm not going to worry about breadcrumbs. Right, and then the RSS isn't something that I usually put anything into. The next section we can go to is a search console. And so in here, you would then authenticate it with Google. I've got like another video that shows that. I haven't even set up Google Analytics for this site yet. So I'll come back and do that later. Then you've got all your social pages. So you just want to go and put in what those are going to be. So it's going to be this one. But yeah, you get the idea of that, so I'll come back and do that. Then you've got tools, so if you were redoing a website, then you can actually you could actually import settings from somewhere else. You've also got the bulk editor, so you can click on the bulk editor and you can go in there and you can see all the URLs, all the SEO titles. So there's a whole stack of pages by the looks of it that I need to get rid of. And then there's the premium version of Yoast SEO. At this point, that's not something that I tend to use, but you know, you could based on whatever your circumstances are. Okay, we'll just go back to the plugins, see if there's anything else that I need to set up. Yeah, so what you would normally do is put your Google Analytics code in there. Like I said, I've got other videos on that already. So we're just really looking at the basic settings today. So then the other thing that I'm going to come into is the settings sections here. And we're going to go to General. And, you know, you can... So for instance, this is usually the bits that I change is in here the site language. So I want it to be English Australia, but so you change it to whatever is relevant for you. Then I'm going to have the Brisbane time zone. Then I'm going to have a date format. I like to choose that date format just because there could be people coming to my site from America and from Australia and the UK, and everyone uses different date formats. So in Australia we have date, month and year. In America they have month, date and year, which is very confusing. So I just tend to put it like that. But if your website is just targeting your country, then it's not going to be so much of an issue. We'll save the changes there. Then I'm going to the writing settings. And so like this is kind of up to you, but I usually get rid of the category called uncategorized if I'm going to, it doesn't matter if you're going to keep them all blocked, but if I am going to keep it as something, then I would usually make the default post category whatever just the main blog is. You can keep uncategorized if you like, and you could always set the uncategorized category itself so that it's blocked from Google, but all the others are still accessible. Up to you. So at this point I'm not going to change that because I haven't set anything up yet, and I don't know which category is the important one. Now this is really important if you are setting up a new website like I'm doing here. I don't actually want Google to find this site until I'm ready. So I'll tick this box here, and then that will stop Google finding my website. Now unfortunately I didn't do that. The developer put the theme on my site and then he hadn't blocked it off, and so this is what happens. Is that I've got 13 results now which are kind of rubbish, and so that's not something that I want. And so before the site goes live, I'm going to make sure that all those have gone. I've ticked the box now to make sure that they don't exist, but if they're still there in like a week or two's time, then what I'm going to do is go into Google Search Console and ask Google Search Console to remove all of these results from Google. So you should be able to find a video on how to do that. Otherwise, I might have one on my channel. I'm not 100% sure, but you can always ask me if that's something you want to work out, is how to remove these. Okay, and so then you also get the option to work out which page that you want, the page of your website that you want your blog post to appear on. In the discussion settings, personally, because I'm not going to be a blog, or if your site isn't going to be a blog, it's more of a small business website, then I don't really want these. It's just annoying. But I'm going to allow people to put comments on my articles, but they must be registered and logged in to comment, and I'm going to manually approve them, because I don't want a whole stack of like rubbish comments that I have to constantly go in and try and delete. In the media section, I don't usually do anything in there. In the permalinks section, sometimes what happens is, I think the default one for WordPress now is like having the post name, this one here, as the default. And you can go in here and have, sometimes it'll have like the date, or it'll have something else. And so they're not helpful really for SEO. They might be really good on like a news website or something where it's really important to know what the date is, but it's not particularly useful for a small business. You've just kind of, made the important keywords in the URL at like a second level, third level there. And what I will often do though is have, I will often put like category before that. So if I click on that, so I'll often have category and then post name, so that when any of my blog posts are published, they're going to be under a specific category. And what I will do is, and let me know if you want further clarification on this, but what I would do is make this category URL the same as whatever one of my pages are. So just say I have a page called SEO training, so it'll be SEO-training as the page name. So let me see, maybe this theme has something like that. Pages, services. Okay, let's just say what happened. So just say we've got a page here, local SEO, right? So that's the page on my website. And where are we? Oh, back over here. So that's the page on my website, local SEO. So then what I would do is in the categories, I would have a category that is local SEO. So, you know, local SEO. And then whenever I do blog posts that are to do with local SEO, then the URL for that blog post is going to be goldencatseo.com, local SEO, and then whatever that blog post is about. And any of those blog posts that I then write to do with local SEO are under the category of local SEO, which has the same URL as my local SEO page. And what that will do is it will help to rank my local SEO page. So that's just one of the tricks or ways that you can help with that. So we're going to save that there. And then in the privacy section, which is new. So I only just saw this the other day. Change your privacy policy page. Okay, so WordPress is now encouraging you, following national and international privacy laws, that you really need to have a privacy page. And so I think they've created like a draft privacy policy page that you could go and edit. Or you can create a new page if you want to, I suppose, have one that you've created. But yeah, like a really good idea to set that up. Let's go and have a look in the pages and we'll look for this privacy policy so I can see what are they putting on it. Because we want to see, here we go, so 2 of them there. Let's go see what these are. Okay, so it looks like it's even put like Golden Cat SEO in there. What's the other one? So I don't know why there are 2 there. They look like they're the same. So you probably want to get rid of one if it creates 2 for some reason. And because that says privacy policy 2. And just make sure that that's got all the right details for your site. And then we're going to go into the social media section. Okay, so this is due to this is the Feather social media that I installed. So what we want to do in this case is I want it to appear after the post, share buttons after the post, and I don't want to have follow buttons. But then you can customize a little bit what you want it to kind of look like. Change the icon size if you're not happy with that. Let's go see if I'll just go see if it's actually active on any of the posts. So go into the blog. So these are obviously not blogs on my site. Okay, so what should happen is that at the bottom of this blog post, we should be seeing these icons. So there's usually something in here that I have to tick to make sure they show up. Display the buttons. That'd be it after the post. Okay, so now if I click Save Changes, hopefully, where was the post we're on? And now we've got those buttons showing up there. So obviously this post doesn't have any content on it, and you'd want to have a space in between that. But that's the general idea with those. They're then just going to show up on the bottom there. And then we've got link checker. So that's not really the most important bit. The important bit is in the tools, where we're going to go here. So if there's any broken links in your site, this will usually come up with like a number next to it. And then you can go in here and you can check and see, and often it will send you an email. So at the moment, there's like no broken links. And then in the redirection plugin, which was the other one that we set up, it now has this setup thing that it makes you do. So we go Start, Setup. Now, what it now gives you the option to do, which is kind of awesome, is that if for some reason you need to change a URL on your website, then it will automatically redirect it for you. So you don't have to worry that if you change something, that will go to like an error page. So at the moment, I'm kind of ticking both of those, but I don't want to store the IP information, because I might have people from other countries coming, from European countries, and I don't want to have that as an issue. So it's now going to working, but some issues. Summary, there's some problems connecting to, it is not necessary to fix these problems, and the plugin is still able to work. Okay, never seen that before. Okay. I imagine that if there was a real problem, it would tell me that I had to do something else. But in any case, in the world of websites and SEO, there is constantly always new things that you just have never seen before, even if you've been doing it for 10 years like I have been, where, pretty much every day there's something new. So I think that was all the things I needed to show you. Let's just have a look. Okay. Yep, so that would be kind of the main things that I would do when I'm first starting up a site, that can sort of help to get everything kind of set up. And then obviously a lot of the other videos that I've got will show you how to do various other things within the website itself. But like I said, just let me know if you've got any questions about anything, and I would be happy to make a video.